Decapitation. Personal or not personal? At the same time, if you look back in the day, we had serial killers that were taking people's heads off, leaving them in their homes, under their homes, buried in other places. People finding dead bodies and heads are missing. It's like, I think seeing it in the more modern era is more disturbing, unfortunately. It's just that you'd be like, I thought we moved past that. Nobody should be doing that. Now, personal or not personal? Is close up. Also depending on the person, but it's like somebody is really taking a knife or other. I don't know how you even cut a head off. That's so insane. But it's like you have somebody taking somebody's head off their body. What leads to that? And you know what's crazy? Nowadays, it just be an argument. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Let me give myself a little pat on the back. Also, you guys, thank you so much. We have reached 1,000 subscribers. It's so weird. You know, I didn't even feel the joy of it when it happened because I was like, I had like a stomach virus. That's what it felt like. I don't know what I ate, but I was like, see, this is another reason I got to get out of this country because I was like, what am I eating? It was something I cooked, but it's like, I don't know what led up to it because that morning I woke up, I was all happy because I was like, oh, I see 999. And I was like, let me go make some breakfast because I know it's going to happen today. And I was making breakfast. Everything was good. I woke up happy. But then I ate breakfast. And I don't know what happened. I don't know if it was like I don't know. That's all I'm going to say. I don't know. I made myself breakfast, but stuff be so tainted nowadays. And I made potatoes and I had biscuits. I was like, what is this? Like, after that, I just felt so, I don't know. But my stomach was not there. And if y'all hear noise, it's a train. But, yeah, I was like bedridden all day, back hurting, stomach was toe up and hurting. I couldn't. I was like, dang. And then when it happened, I was like, oh, congratulations to myself and thank you. But I couldn't like be happy because my stomach was hurting. So I was like, let me just get offline because I was still trying to plan cases, y'all, when my stomach was hurting. I was like, okay, I'm happy, okay? My mom, everybody else congratulating me. I was like, I know, it's the first little milestone. On to the next. We got to keep going, road to 2,000. But I was like, okay, I'm trying to be happy. Let me plan some cases and post it on my community board, which I did. So my stomach was just like, go to sleep. Like, it was just hurting so bad, y'all. So I just went to sleep and I was like, I pray. And yeah, I know I always say I'm not even a big religious person, but I had to. I was like, let me just go to sleep and wake up feeling better. And that nap really did help, even though I was napping at like 10 o'clock, basically sleeping. But I felt so much better the next day. And then I was happy. I was like, okay. I was like, we've reached 1,000 subscribers. I'm so happy, you know. It's so much going on. Also, the TikTok ban, is that really happening on the 19th? I don't really care for it. I never really care for the app that much. I watch funny stuff on there. I post my little clips on there, that's all, but I mostly post my stuff on shorts and I upload on YouTube, so I'm not fazed by it, but I know a lot of people are, and they tell me I'm going back to Facebook and Instagram. I'm like, I didn't like those apps either. Instagram is more like a business app now. Facebook is, parents ruined it, so it's just like personal, and I like look at old people from back in the day, that's what that is, so I don't care for Facebook either. Also know people post on Snapchat. I don't do that either. Like, I know a lot of content creators do weird skits on there, and I was like, yeah, I don't use Snapchat, so I also don't use X. I don't like that app. Also, did y'all know with that app, you have to, if you post some to edit, you have to pay monthly. So yeah, I deleted that. I was like, it's too toxic anyway, but I don't need that anyway. So I'm just using YouTube until then. But I'm using YouTube. I don't care about nothing else. But anyways, y'all, we're going to continue with the crime. I'm so excited. We're going to continue to grow this channel. We have more crime to talk about. Now, this is a case that happened in 2023, okay? We have a woman who was decapitated after 3 months of marriage. Whew, okay, her head was found in the back of a cabin of his family home. So already, I'm like, what happened? How do you decapitate somebody's head? Everything looks so happy, and then the person you love is killing you. That is so scary. You know what's more interesting? A lot of people who be taking out people's heads, they use knives. How is that possible? There's a bone. Like, how is it even possible? But you have somebody who decapitated his wife's head, because that's his wife, new wife, And I don't know why. But that's what we're gonna react to. We're gonna be watching the Law and Crime because I was like, I can do the outline myself, you know, on Law and Crime. But I was like, I'd rather hear them talk about the whole evidence because it's like more evidence on the video. So let's get into it.
It was a portion of a body dismembered.
It was a crime so disturbing, the sheriff of a rural Texas county had trouble even talking about it. A young wife murdered by her new husband just months after they got married. Now that newlywed has learned his fate after admitting to decapitating his wife. We're taking a closer look at this grisly case with Houston criminal defense attorney Anthony Osso. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber. 23-year-old Jared Dykes will spend at least the next few decades in prison after he entered a guilty plea in Waller County Court out in Texas for the savage murder of his young wife, Angie Diaz. And I am talking newlyweds here. I want you to listen to this timeline. So Angie and Jared, they got married in October of 2022.
Isn't it crazy looking at pictures like this? Everything looks so happy. Who dog is out there? But yeah, it's like everything's so happy. And then who knows what? That's what I always say. I wonder if they're going to say, you know, they say what everybody does. Everybody looks so perfect online. Don't ever go off that. You never know what's happening behind closed doors. Everything, you know, they say a lot of stuff. I've never been married, but I'm curious of people, if you have been married, if this is true. They say a lot of, like, everything changes after marriage. Like, you'll, like, your eyes open, and a lot of, like, I guess stuff you never knew about the person, you'll, like, start noticing. I don't know. Is it really like a switch after marriage? If that is really scary. But yeah, I'm still on how do you just decapitate somebody? The problem I have, and I'm going to get detailed in this, that's how I understand things. How do you look at it? How can you, you know, do that and then, like, look at that and, like, still be sane? Now, those people, which is a lot of people, because this has been happening a lot now. I would say a lot of people are mentally ill, by the way. A lot of people are just, like, evil individuals. But I think people who can kill somebody and, you know, look at that stuff are some different human beings. I don't know, but this picture is really pretty, but little did they know. And that's a scary thing too. I be seeing on Instagram, not Instagram, but TikTok, that people say they post pictures and videos of their loved ones and they be like, little did they know in a couple of days they'll be murdered by the person they love. Dang.
The judge who married them at the courthouse, Trey Duhan, posted a photo of this happy couple on his Facebook page, commemorating what was supposed to be a very happy occasion. And you know what? The two appeared happy, at least on social media. Angie often posted photos of the couple together. On a Christmas photo post, Jared commented, "Merry Christmas, my beautiful wife, my trophy." But then,
and look, I'm gonna stop pausing it real quick, y'all. But I want her to say this just there. I think it's a common saying that they appeared happy on social media, and that's what I was talking about earlier. I'm like, everybody appears happy on social media. It's a picture. You're smiling. Nobody's going to take a picture if they're not smiling. You take a picture with your husband and everybody think you're like the best couple in the world. Little did they know there's a lot of other stuff that could be happening. You know, I see this a lot. And once again, I know I'd be like, I don't be on TikTok that much, but maybe I do because I see stuff, okay? But there was a post, right? This girl posted with her husband. And, oh my God. The thing about women, emotional creatures, we're emotional creatures. But we have a tendency to be blind to something just because something else is happening. Like, for example, if there's a video of a man cooking for his wife, women eat it up and they don't care. They just be like, I guess that's something that a lot of women want. But little did they know there's other stuff that can be happening. Everything looked perfect online. It's called editing. It's called angles. Like, what? He's cooking and there's just good angles on him that he looked good while cooking and he's serving his wife. I'm pretty sure that stuff don't happen every day in marriage. You never know, especially with the man. But if it do, that's what, you know, there you go. But it's like, it happens a lot. Women, and I'm a woman too. I'm just saying, it's like women online, they just look at the picture and they eat it up. I'm talking about, you see that stuff so much, even on Instagram. They be like, oh my God, husband goes, he do everything for her. I need a man like that. I'm like, girl, do you even know? You don't know what's going on between them. And like I said, everything is for show. Especially for like YouTube couples. Do not ever, I can't say this enough, do not ever idolize a YouTube couple. God, it's like, don't ever do that. Don't idolize families, family vloggers. No, no. Most of the time, 99% of the time, there is child exploitation if they have kids, especially if they're showing their kids. That's what that's about. You just never, there's a lot of stuff going on behind closed doors. That's why you should never idolize people. I would never idolize another person online. Like, let me see. I like Lana Del Rey. I just like her music. I don't think I idolize anybody. I don't. I don't even idolize myself sometimes. I really just record videos, but I'm like, even on my lifestyle channel, I'm just not like I'm trying to show much. I do shorts of my cooking, me learning a language, but like people who show everything, like record 24/7 in their homes, yeah, that's not me. But yeah, just, just know that a picture is just a picture. And there's a lot going on behind that picture most of the time. Now let's get back into it. Sorry, y'all.
Just a few weeks later, in January of 2023, deputies get a call about a death near Magnolia, which is about an hour outside of Houston. And when police arrive, there were two homes on the property. There's a main house, and then there's a smaller cabin. Dyke's parents lived in the main home while he and Angie lived behind them. And in the smaller home, first responders find Angie's body, decapitated. And to give you just a sense of how heinous this crime scene was, even the Waller County Sheriff had a hard time even putting into words when he spoke with reporters that day about the remains and what that scene looked like.
It was a portion of a body dismembered and a residence that was covered in blood. It's a gruesome scene at best.
According to the sheriff, a large kitchen knife was likely the murder weapon in this case. Deputies immediately took Dykus into custody, but apparently he didn't make a statement immediately, but then he later confessed to police that he did in fact kill Angie. And on July 31st, Jared Dykus pled guilty to the murder of his wife, Angie Diaz, and he was sentenced to 40 years in prison as part of a plea deal, which we're going to get into. But I want to bring in right now Houston attorney Anthony.
Kitchen knives. How is that even possible? Like, okay, this is definitely personal. Obviously, that's his wife. We're going to say not even newlyweds. Well, they are newlyweds, but that's still his wife. 3 months. That's his wife. How can somebody that you love, that you say you love, just murder you? That is so weird. Like, now I always go to the typical, the typical sayings. It's the domestic violence incidents that happened after marriage. Because I don't feel like they would have got married if this stuff was actually before. Because they look happy in the picture. The judge said they was happy, during the ceremony. So I don't think this was happening before. But, it could have been maybe hidden. I don't know. Maybe he said he wouldn't do it again. They still got married and everything was happy. I don't know. There are some cases where women will still marry the man because they want to get married. I'm not saying she did. I'm just saying possibly. If everything changed afterwards and there was fighting all the time, why would, no matter what, like, just get it? Is it an annulment? No, an annulment is like when it's like that's not like you weren't meaning to get married, I think. But why not just leave? Why can we please normalize leaving rather than murder? God, really talk it out about what you're trying to do to somebody. And look at yourself in the mirror, and if you can, you're a psycho. But it's like, just to take somebody's life like that, especially with a freaking kitchen knife, oh my God. The horror scene that I'm picturing up in there is giving me, what movie? Dang, I think everything is like Terrifier. God, more like Terrifier 2. Ooh, that was scary. More like Terrifier era, just because the knife. And then unfortunately, I'm going to say this, okay? But I'm thinking of, I'm not going to say it. I'm over here thinking about how he did it, but don't think like that. It's just that I'm trying to understand, and like, why would somebody do this? It's sick. It's like, and also 40 years in prison, They're a young couple, so just because he pled guilty, I don't think that should be a thing. I know we have laws for a reason, but people who murder out of nowhere, and if it's not self-defense or anything like that, that you actually have to, try to find a case for, he admitted to it. I just think these people deserve to be behind bars forever. I think the judge should have been like, okay, are you pleading guilty? He said yes, for a lighter sentence. And then after everything is good, he confesses, and I'm gonna be like, there you go. Now you're going to prison forever without parole. That's how it should be. That's how they should catch him. I don't know. It's just sad. She was young, killed early by her husband. Put that one on the books, because I've done a couple of those this year. Not this year, last year. Actually, I think I did one. Did I do one this year? I don't know. The year just started, and I don't even remember what I talked about on here. I gotta go back, but I have done a lot last year.
So, Anthony, thanks so much for coming back here on Sidebar to talk about this case. By the way, in your community, in your state, were people talking about this case? Did it get a lot of attention? Because it's pretty disgusting and pretty heinous.
Absolutely. Anytime that you've got a decapitation and a dismemberment type of murder in a domestic violence setting, that's going to make waves. And in a county like Waller, a smaller county outside of Houston, it's definitely not an everyday crime you're going to hear about. So it was definitely, it definitely made the news.
By the way, have you seen, we talk about violence in relationships all the time, but newlyweds, how often do you see that?
It's not uncommon. I actually tried a case where, the defendant was the fiance, and 4 days after they had gotten engaged, he murdered her. So it's not, murder is not common, but it is increasing, and at least in a domestic violence setting. So it's not unheard of to see that.
Of it, but they were just married. They seemed happy. Now, police, they haven't released a motive, to be clear about
Everybody
this, but there
seems
were
happy.
concerns at the beginning of the investigation that Dykus might not be competent to stand trial, plea or no plea. So the court sent him for a competency evaluation. He was deemed to be of sound mind, so he was allowed to enter this plea of this guilty plea in exchange for 40 years confinement. And as part of the plea agreement, he waived his right to appeal the verdict, the sentence, any potential defense to prosecution, such as an insanity defense. Additionally, he's waived any post-conviction writs of habeas corpus, and he's not going to be eligible for parole until 2043. The district attorney says their office consulted with Angie's family before they settled on the plea agreement, which I have a lot of questions about. But first, just talk to me, Anthony. 40 years is a long time.
Hold on. 40 years is a long time he's about to talk about. Okay, but the dude is only going to be like 60 when he get out. Also, he has the possibility of parole. Is crazy. Maybe it's because of the city they're in, the state, whatever. I don't care. Maybe it's that, I don't do law. Okay, I don't do law, y'all. I literally just judge crime over here. I need to, what? I should start researching more about laws. But I don't agree with them. That's why I don't. I don't think you should be able to get the possibility of parole if you murder somebody, especially so gruesomely. How can you have a and I know it's like when 2040 is a long way if he make it, but isn't it like when you get for the possibility of parole, you have to, the family has to say okay if they want you out? Is that it or no? Because I think if he served his full time, he just gets out, right? I don't know. That's just weird though. 40 years with the possibility of parole. What world are we living in, y'all? This is crazy. These people, they murder others, and the other people, they can't come back. So why do these people get to integrate into society? Then you got people who, once again, they I did a on one of the clips I posted, I was talking about the on TikTok. I was talking about how I'm all for capital punishment and how, death penalty, all that stuff. But then this girl was giving her opinion on it. And I was like, okay, I understand that, people, especially if it's proven, this dude admitted it. But it's like, how do, what? You got people who don't believe that prisoners should be kept in prison for so long because it make them more crazy. Okay, I would rather them in there than out here, because if you're able to do that, you could do it again. You psychopath. And then I think anybody who murders, unless they're God, Unless they're like really mentally ill and have an illness that is diagnosed, I think they're able and competent to stand trial, okay? Maybe this is just my mind because I don't, I don't have a mental illness or something like that. But if you're not like, what's it called? If you're not like professionally diagnosed with something that could really mess with your mind, I don't think that should have been a problem. The dude said exactly what he did. He agreed to the charges. Like, this dude is obviously here. I just don't agree with the possibility of parole after you decapitate somebody. What world are we living in? Seriously, what world are we living in, people? I cannot. Let me just continue this, y'all. I'm sorry. Rage mode is like really coming through with these cases now.
But is that justice for what he did here?
I don't think you can equate or put a number on what Angie's life is worth, especially not if you're her family members. But like you said, Jesse, I think 40 years is a long time. And in Texas, you've got to serve at least half of your sentence.
This was in Texas?
Or 30 years, whatever is less on a 3G offense, which is a violent crime like murder. So it's going to be a long time before he's even eligible for parole. And I can guarantee you that he's not making parole before doing around 80% of his time in the state of Texas.
In other words, you don't think when 2043 rolls around 20 years from now, he's going to be let out?
No, not on a crime like this.
Yeah. Look, you say there's no price that can be put on Andrew's life. You're 100%. Some people would say life for life. He should spend the rest of his life in prison. He should never even have the opportunity to get out because he'd be in his 60s, right? He'd be in his 60s by the time he could get out, which is
That's crazy.
Not something that Angie gets. She doesn't get a second shot at life. And again, I find it interesting to think about that.
Everything I said.
Because, and as far as our reporting and our research indicated, the family knows about the deal. They were consulted. I can't get a definitive answer if they agreed with it or not. And how, in your experience, how much do prosecutors take what the family wants, what the victim's family wants in a plea deal like this?
I think in a case like this, they're absolutely going to consider what the family says. They're also victims in this, but it's not the family's final say-all. It's the prosecutor's job to look at the case and determine what the issues involved are. And anytime you're going to trial on a case, there's risk. Here you've got an admission, you've got him showing up at her place of work on surveillance video, and so it seems like it's an easy win for the state, but a good defense team could really draw out a possible insanity defense in this case.
That is what I want to talk to you about, because aside from the fact of can we spare the time and expense of a trial, can we spare Angie's family from having to listen to these gruesome details, can we spare first responders and police from having to testify about what they saw, can we spare a jury from having to see what would be incredibly gruesome photos and incredibly gruesome detail, I can understand why there's a plea. But the mental health defense, I wonder if that was a concern for prosecutors. And I want to table that for 1 second. We'll talk about it. Sure. But let me just focus a little bit on Angie, because what do we know about Angie? So the 21-year-old was originally from Nicaragua. She'd been in the United States for about 3 years. Her friend said she'd been working 2 jobs. You know why? So that she could send money back to Nicaragua to pay for a relative's cancer treatment. That just kind of shows you what kind of person Angie was. Now, Angie worked at this local Hispanic butcher shop, which also seemed to serve food. It acted as a kind of convenience store. Now, unbelievably, the same day that Dykus killed Angie, he stopped by the shop where she worked. Surveillance video from the store shows him parking out front, walking inside, and grabbing a beer from the cooler. And according to the sheriff's office, he didn't pay for his beer. No, instead he walks out with the beer, starts to drink it in the parking lot. Again, after he murders Angie.
Oh.
And the police investigation revealed this was a short time after he killed Angie, but before his parents were alerted to what was going on. So I have to ask here, Ed.
Oh, he's fully sane. That's actually crazy. I kind of see why they would say it's like if it's mentally ill, because like that's not normal. Your hands just cut somebody's head off, the person you're supposed to love, your wife, and you go to the store and go get a drink. Walk out normally, relaxed. He looked, his body language looked relaxed. That's not normal. That's definitely not normal. I guess I agree. I see why they are trying to talk about that part.
If you're looking at this, This may be why prosecutors agreed to a deal. If he can just nonchalantly
he was
walk
gonna
to
get
the
life in
place
prison.
of business, grab a beer, walk out. You could say it's incredibly chilling. It shows how cold and evil he is.
Yeah.
Or you could say, my gosh, this shows that he's not in his right mind. And maybe prosecutors were concerned about the success of a mental health defense. What's your take?
Absolutely. If I'm the defense attorney in this case, I'm going to hone in on the fact that he goes and gets a beer from the place she works and doesn't pay for it after. The law to prove insanity in the state of Texas is just showing that a defendant doesn't have recognition of the consequences of their actions. So when I'm trying murder cases and I'm worried about insanity, I want to see things like, did he clean the mess up? Did he try and hide the body? Things that show that he's trying to stay out of trouble. We don't have that here. We've got the defendant going to her place of work and stealing a beer, not even stealing a beer, just grabbing a beer out of the fridge and starting to drink it. It's not in line with someone that's worried about the consequences of their actions.
But generally speaking, it would have been really, really tough, and you tell me in Texas especially, to mount a mental health defense, an insanity defense, right?
I think with this type of gruesome crime, it's always going to be tough to get jurors to wrap their head around the fact that he's not guilty when he so blatantly dismembered an innocent victim. Absolutely. But all it takes is one, Jesse. And so I think that that's something that the defense really probably leaned in on in the pretrial negotiations, and that the prosecutors recognized when they decided to come to that agreement.
This is crazy. I really feel like I didn't even know that that was like the place she worked at. Why would he go there? There's a lot of thought, I think, afterwards. But at the same time, I'm thinking there's like nothing in there with him. Like he just murdered her and just said, okay, F it, let me go get a drink and go, just drive around and see what I'm about to do, because I don't have any thoughts right now. I just killed my wife and I'm over it. I hate her. I hate my life. Don't care. Nothing's in here. I feel like that's what's going on. Because even though he did look relaxed drinking his drink, it also looked like he just wasn't there. Like he probably went blank afterwards. Cutting somebody's head off is crazy work. That is crazy just to think about, to even say it out loud that you cut somebody's head off. 100%, I 100% believe that if they didn't go guilty and they went the full trial, he would have got life without parole. And that's what they should have did. It's like, I feel like these crimes that be so heinous, I don't think they should have a say-so if they should say guilty or not. Because yes, okay, let's say this, y'all. Let me make this make sense. They should say they're guilty, but I think they should still go to trial. There we go. Because for the victim to get, I think, for people to really understand how sick people can be, I feel like they really should explain it. This girl was, and then, by the way, like they said, I did read that he did not clean up the crime. It was blood everywhere. And they found her body just decapitated. Like he just went, just snapped. And this is at the back, behind his parents' home. This is so scary. Like, newlyweds, young people, 21 and 23. The fact that he only got 40 years says a lot without saying much. It's like, how is that possible? I don't know what was going through this dude's head. I don't know what happened, what argument happened. I doubt he said it. He probably just agreed so he don't have to talk about it no more. That's crazy. Dude, I'm curious, do the family of people who murder have to pay the victims? Because I believe they should. There's no amount of money, but I think that they should pay for everything, the burials, the stuff with the funeral. They also should owe them allowances. I just think they should pay them the victim's family so much money. Dang, that's just crazy. Newlyweds. These couple cases be some of the hardest because it's like you don't know why people do it. There was no talk of domestic violence that we know of, but we know something wasn't right. Maybe he snapped. Maybe they had an argument and he just didn't want to try to be an adult about it and just went crazy. I don't know. But this also just shows you that there's a lot of stuff you don't know about people. This dude could have been crazy way before her. And I'm pretty sure he was. Because to think about this, this is shocking. Like, you don't know anybody. I always say this, and it's only because, if you get married, you obviously know something. You know a lot about the person, okay? But the only reason I always say this, because I say it a lot. Yeah, I know y'all know I say it a lot. The only reason I say you don't really know anybody deep down, only because you don't know what they're thinking. That's the number one thing you would never understand. You don't know what they're thinking. Now, you got old people that be saying, oh, I know everything about it. I know what he's thinking before he even do it. No, you don't. No, you don't. You think you do. You don't. If you be cooking and you just think he hungry, a man will eat, okay? A man will eat. He'll eat. But you don't know what anybody's thinking. And with these cases, that's how they all are. You don't know, like, everybody around them say that everything look perfect. And we need to stop using the word perfect with these relationships. Nobody is perfect. Okay, there's no such thing as perfect in a relationship. Okay, people argue, fight. Okay, I need to stop saying that too. And I'd be like, oh, if you're fighting too much, it's not meant to be. A lot of people fight in arguments and they make up. It's okay being an adult about it. But people also did say you need to stop saying fight and just say disagreements, because that's what it is. It's a disagreement, not a fight. If it's a fight, that means you're putting your hands on that person. I don't know if this girl was getting beat, but once again, you don't know what he's thinking. So it's like he could have took whatever she was saying the wrong way and just wanted to kill her. That's been happening a lot too. I don't know. It's weird, y'all. But all I do know is that you just got to be careful talking to people. I feel like that's what this is. You got to be careful, and it shouldn't even be like that if you're married to the person. You should be able to say whatever you want. And but nobody knows. We don't know what made this dude snap. He decapitated his newlywed wife. Left a horrific, gruesome crime scene, and then went to her job right after to get a drink and walked out without paying, drunk it, just drove away. That's crazy. And only got 40 years in prison with the possibility of parole. With in Texas. Isn't that crazy, y'all? Anyways, what are your thoughts on this case? Yeah, this is just sad for the victim. She did not deserve this. It's like nobody deserves to be murdered by anybody. I don't know why this stuff is happening. It's just so shocking, and it's just so sad about how she was taken out. I wouldn't wish that on anybody. So on that note, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Stay safe, stay aware, stay alert. Road to 2K. I'm excited to grow this channel. We have more crime to talk about. Stay safe, ladies and men. Bye.